hello everybody and welcome to another edition of Poland Daily Travel. You may ask why I'm wearing a heavy coat inside, and it's just because I grew to love it. But I do have my leather jacket like Steve McQueen on underneath, which is appropriate because we're in the Great Escape Museum here on the outskirts of beautiful downtown Zagan, where we were filming before, and also in Żary nearby. Look, this is a place which has seen so many travels of warriors over the centuries. Even now, you see American soldiers, Polish soldiers, of course, because we're in Poland, Ukrainian soldiers being trained, British soldiers training them along with Americans. In fact, we just saw some American soldiers this morning in our hotel, and just now out when we were looking at the previous section at the escape tunnel, Harry. Hope you enjoyed that because that was fascinating for me. Okay, attention, upon entrance of this zone, the guard will shoot. That's not good. Pan Marek here is the curator. Hi. Thanks for having us in. We drove up serendipitously, and luckily, because it's winter, he has time for us, and we're very happy about that.
It's my pleasure.
Great. So can you want to take us around the exhibition and show us what's going on?
Whatever you want.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go around and just show us what you've got on offer, because it's quite a nice room here. I presume these are the names of the people.
We call this the Wall of Donors.
So this is the donors for the museum?
Donors for the museum. However, these are indeed prisoners from the camp.
These are the prisoners from the camp?
Both blocks, yes.
Yeah.
Or people kind of related to the history of the camp. So in this case, these are American prisoners from Stalag Luft III. These are a few British, these are a few Polish. And again, we call this the Wall of Donors.
And some of them who were prisoners visited here, right?
Indeed, they were
after
here,
the war. Yeah.
After the war, as the museum was built in 1971.
Right.
Starting from 71, in 70s, especially in the late 80s, early 80s, many prisoners, Stalag Luft III veterans, visited the museum, and today, just few are still alive. We are in touch with the families and the relatives of the prisoners.
Of the prisoners, yeah. No, I'm listening, don't worry.
So we have a collection of the uniforms, of the wartime uniforms, Allied uniforms.
Okay, this is British, is it?
Canada, it's a Canada.
Canada?
South Africa, New Zealand, Australia. We have an American uniform right here.
This is the American. This is the Steve McQueen would have been wearing something like this.
Steve McQueen probably was B-17 pilots.
So they were all pilots, weren't they?
They were airmen. They were
airmen.
Pilots,
they didn't
bombardiers, navigators. There were Polish airmen as well here in Stalag Luft III.
How did they get captured? The
They
Poles.
were shot down over Germany, France.
Let's look here, Maciej.
And they were first.
Sorry, Marek, right?
Yeah, sure.
Marek. Yeah. Okay. Marek, we're looking at the outline of the camp, right? Stalag Luft III, and it's quite big, isn't it?
Actually, it's only one compound. There were 5 compounds like this.
There were 5 like this, and how many prisoners?
10,500 people.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people. So you had 10,500 people and 5 of these complexes. So it was all over this area. How many hectares was the whole thing? Do we know?
It's
do you remember?
Over, you can easily calculate 2 kilometers and 800 meters.
2 kilometers by 800 meters. So it was
2,000 meters, 800 meters. It was a small town. In fact, there were 2 camps here. Stalag Luft III became more popular because of the Great Escape. We are in Stalag 8C, which was the Army POW camp.
Okay.
So this is only one compound. Let me show you the aerial picture of both camps, which is right here.
Yeah.
So now you can see how big were these 2 camps. We are now right here. So this is 8C camp, Stalag 8C, the Army POW camp. Mostly French and British prisoners were held here from the Army. Next door, next Stalag Luft III, which was administrated by the Luftwaffe, which was German Air Force.
Okay.
And this is the Great Escape Camp. And actually, the model we have in the museum, it's only one compound. It's this exactly. So you've been there.
I've been here where Tunnel Harry is. And that's quite a long way away, so this was vast.
It is over 1 kilometer from here.
So it's a really big camp.
It was.
And it must have been, it's curious because it must have been a constant worry that people would try to escape, because how are you going to, first of all, you can't torture them, they're officers, most of them.
It's a POW camp, it's not concentration
Yeah.
camp, so there's a huge difference.
That's right.
And especially Stalag Luft III was an officers' camp.
Yeah, it's an officers' camp, so you've got to follow the Geneva Convention. Nobody's going to be tortured. Put them in the cooler, but still, they still get food. It's not horrible.
Even then, they were escaping.
And from the cooler?
From the camp.
From the camp. Oh yeah, because we know in The Great Escape, in the movie we see Steve McQueen playing baseball, and he keeps going back, and it's all kind of a joke, at a certain point, right?
Well, the movie is not that bad. It's a movie, of course. It's
Yeah.
But the progress, the preparations for the Great Escape are very correct. The camp life is not correct. The camp life wasn't as nice as you can see in the movie.
Yeah.
Even the Geneva Convention.
But going to the cooler was not a horrible punishment.
But it was
just
not.
like,
It was not, of course.
That's what I meant.
It was just prison. It was just prison.
Yeah.
Maximum 30 days.
Maximum of only 30 days, but still it's a long time.
It is.
And they reduce your amount you eat, your rations. Right, yeah. So that's basically your punishment, isn't it? You'd be hungry and cold, no doubt.
But they kept escaping because it was their duty. It was duty to escape from the POW camp.
Yeah, you were not supposed to take it lying down. You were supposed to try to escape. Okay, and what's this here?
The Polish uniform, because we are in Stalag 8C display.
Okay, let's stand on either side.
It's a Polish uniform because first prisoners here in Stalag 8C were Polish soldiers from the Defense War of Poland, September of 1939.
From 1939, so they were the first people here. We're pretty deep into Germany at that point. Germany went over pretty much further to the east.
That part was actually eastern part of Germany.
Yeah, it was eastern Germany, but it was still well within Germany, so hard to escape. You're in Germany.
You are in Germany, yeah.
So it's miraculous that some of these people were able to get very far at all, not speaking German or a little German,
Actually, escaping from the camp was the easiest part.
But surviving after that,
To the next.
That's always the part that scared me. Watching that film, I was like, how are you going to survive? With all the Germans being so suspicious, the people being mobilized to recognize and suspicious to recognize any foreigner.
Precisely. Yeah.
Of course, some people might help you because they hated the Nazis at that point. But
that's what happened actually in the camp, because many of these guards, the German guards, were not Nazis.
Yeah.
And they kind of helped.
They were like, good luck. This place is hell for us too.
That's right.
What are these things? These are some people's.
Those are these items we found with the metal detecting devices during the last.
Some small feet.
The shoes, all these.
These were for soldiers?
Yeah, the soldiers.
Their feet were small. I mean, look at our feet.
People.
Yeah.
70 years ago, the people were much smaller than.
They were smaller. They didn't eat as much. I mean, they didn't have so many hamburgers. Yeah. And just more a French uniform.
British uniform. And these are army uniforms, as you see. Because Stalag 8 was the army POW.
Were there French soldiers here?
40,000 French soldiers.
Were imprisoned?
Yeah.
Because they were from the Free French Army, right? It was captured at the beginning of the war?
Yeah. After France collapsed.
Yeah. The soldiers who were fighting were brought in there?
Yeah, they were taken prisoners of war. And they were here. Many of them were here.
Yeah.
And there were hundreds of camps like this, like 8C camp.
Right. There were a lot of camps.
Across Germany.
Across Germany, yeah. Because they kept them in Germany so they couldn't get away.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
Some of these camps were in occupied territories, but most of them were in Germany.
And this is a typical bunk?
A typical, that's the original bunk. It's original double bed. It's a constructing the tunnel, they were using these bed boards to support the tunnel.
Is that a baseball glove?
It is.
It's an old-fashioned baseball glove.
It is. It
Looks
is.
almost like a boxing glove. So that's the kind of glove that Steve McQueen would have had. He had a he had a newer one in the film.
It was that kind of sports gear was delivered by the YMCA.
Ah, so they could play ball.
Yeah,
and,
they can play because again the officers were not forced to work.
yeah.
So the record players, sports gear, and all this was provided by the YMCA to, let me say, fulfill the intellectual and spiritual needs of the prisoners of war, according to the Geneva Convention.
Okay, great. But that's an original bunk.
That's original bunk. That's the original wardrobe.
It's too small for me and you. We wouldn't fit.
No.
We wouldn't fit there. It's too small. Yeah.
The stove. That's the original stove from the camp.
Uh-huh.
Camp is stove, by the way, with a metal detector.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that's the original. Every room was. There was a stove like this in every room.
Yeah. And they used one of those. They built the tunnel entrance to Harry.
And
Under a stove like
was
that.
Under the stove like this. So
Yeah.
there was a concrete foundation here.
Yeah.
They moved the stove, they crushed the tiles, and they were going through the foundation first. And
Yeah.
then they were digging the tunnel. Because it's
Extraordinary.
much easier to dig the tunnel here because of the sandy.
Yeah. It's quite sandy soil.
sandy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's quite sandy. And lots of pine trees. But once you escape, we're going to have to finish this episode in a second. And we'll go over for the next episode for tomorrow night.
Good.
We're going to be inside an actual hut,
Perfect.
which is very exciting. Okay, so we've seen the escape tunnel, Harry, out in the wooded part. It's at least a kilometer from here. This was a vast camp, 10,000 prisoners. How many guards?
About 2,000 guards.
About 2,000 guards. So, and a vast perimeter, and you can see on this all the guard houses that were necessary. And that's just one section. So to constantly keep on guard, it must have been terribly boring for those guards as well as for the men inside, dreaming of being home and for the war, for Allied victory, German defeat, and the war to be over. Not to mention how the Polish people thought on the outside of the camp. It must have been a horror for them too. We know it was. At any rate, I want to thank Marek for taking us around, and we'll see you tomorrow night. We're now, in tomorrow night's episode, we are going to be inside the barrack. It's a fantastic thing. So, thanks for watching. I'm Will Richardson at Stalag Luft III. Count them, 1, 2, 3. See you tomorrow night. Oh, don't forget, subscribe, YouTube and Facebook. Please. See you tomorrow.